know, but like medical care, because I think my heart's bad. Yeah, I got a bad heart. I get heart attacks all the time. I just keep moving around. You know what I'm doing here? I'm looking for Bob Dylan. I think maybe he's in California or he might be back in New York City by now, but I figure I gotta be in control of myself before I meet him, because I don't want him to be like, hey, look, you're just a little kid, real young, you gotta grow up. And I only talk with guys that got hook noses like Bob Dylan's. I find I can usually get along with them, like they're more sensitive. I talk to sensitive guys because they're good for me. They know what I'm talking about. They do things for me, you know? Sometimes I'll talk with guys with other kinds of noses. Sensitive noses like yours. I was in a program for a while in a hospital. They taught me to see myself, let myself come through. That's why I'm much nicer than last year. Last year I was angry, but that's because people would come up and make faces at me. People play a lot of games, you know, and at the hospital I went through a lot of stuff, and sometimes I get really angry. I wouldn't get violent. I'm not a violent person, but I'd get physical, you know? Like I'd hit somebody, but I knew what I was doing. It was like a game. Like I'd say to myself, I'll hit that person and then I'll say I'm sorry. But the hospital was good. We had to be on ditroxin or something like that. It was a shot every 2 weeks, and not a shot that hurt, and I'd feel good. I don't hitchhike. No, I'll hitchhike only if I know the place I'm going. Like if I was going to Jersey, I'd hitchhike because I know Jersey, but I meet a lot of strange guys on the road. Like this one time I was hitching and this big fat guy picked me up and we were driving along, and all of a sudden he reached over and grabbed my arm. I said, oh shit, and I quick tried to tear my arm away, but he wouldn't let me, so I kicked the door open and I got out, and then he yelled out at me, don't you get back in this car, girlie! I gotta get me some ID so I can start working, but I don't remember the name of the hospital I was born in, and my father died and my mother retired, and she's somewhere in Florida, and I can't remember the name of the hospital, and I figure like maybe I should go back to the program. Like that's the best thing for me, for my image of myself. It's like totally shattered. I want to get me a guitar and a harmonica once I start working. Then I can practice and I'll get really good at it. And I'll go down to the village around Bleecker Street and I'll find some folkies and we'll all live together and get the revolution started again. In the joint, nothing happened. I didn't get sick or nothing. Like I was scared I would. I mean, I was snorting and shit before I went inside, and I'm thinking, oh shit, this habit's gonna come up on me, because I was doing like 10 bags by then. But the stuff I was snorting inside kept me going the whole time I was there. I'll tell you though, my lawyer knows just where I am, and he can get me for break and parole anytime he wants. He's just gotta pick up the phone and have the police come pick me up. I mean, he knows where I live, but come on, he don't want to do that, because he knows I'm coming down here for the program every day for the first 2 years, and I ain't gonna problem. But I almost got picked up last week. Because I was doing that shit where I'd let some guy proposition me, and then I'd say, yeah man, $20, and then he'd hand me the money, and then first chance I'd get, I'd split. Well, this guy fucking called the cops on me. And I couldn't believe it, and then the cops show up and they handcuffed me and they asked the guy what I did, and he's like, oh, she took $20 off of me and tried to run away. And the cop's like, well, how'd she get $20 off of you? And the guy's like, well, I thought you was a prostitute. And the cop says, well, miss, you got this guy's $20. And I had $40 stuck down the back of my pants, so I pull it out and I said, okay, I've got a 10 and 2 5s in one hand and a 20 in the other. Now you tell me which one's yours and I'll give it back. Like, do you know the serial numbers, man? And the guy's like, I gave you the 10 and 2 5s. The cop says, give it back to him. I don't want no trouble. So I hand him back the money. And then the cops take the guy to the side and they say to him, no, do you want to press charges against this woman? And the guy's like, no, I don't want to press charges. And the cop says, are you sure, man? And the guy's like, yeah, I'm sure, I don't want to press charges. And then constitutional rights. You're under arrest for propositioning this lady. I mean, shit, I couldn't believe it. You see, the cops didn't tell this guy that he'd be arrested if he didn't press charges, because that would mean he was wrong if he didn't. Shit. I didn't want to press charges. I said, hell no, man. I got a kid coming and another one at home, so I can't afford any trouble with going to court, you know. I live in a hotel a few miles from here, but I come down just about every day since I quit my job. I was working as a waitress in a restaurant downtown. I worked at it for 2 years. I don't know how I did it for so long. It's like the time just went by behind my back. But before I became a waitress, I hitched all over the U.S. I'm originally from San Antonio, and my family still lives there, but I hate the place. I mean, the people there are almost dead, all into their little trips with the way they think life should run, or the way their folks taught them. My father had a lot of money, and my two sisters got married real young. I didn't want nothing to do with the whole apron thing. I just wanted to run around. I mean, there's so much going on in the States alone that it makes me dizzy to think of what I'm missing by just sitting here. So my father said that he'd cut me out of the will if I didn't go to school, so I split. I mean, it's kind of romantic. I've been hitching all over the U.S. I lived basically everywhere. I mostly followed migrants, people picking produce and stuff. But what got to me was that it was only romantic because I had a choice. I mean, there was security behind me if I chose to go back, but no, I was tough and could make it on my own, so I took this waitress job because I was tired, and I thought maybe I could settle down and do some thinking instead of all that continuous experiencing, but man. After serving those people for 2 years, let me tell you, there are two things in life that people get really bitchy about. One is money, the other is their food. I mean, I would hassle with these people over food and then sit down and like, the counter was over here, the kitchen was over there, the windows are back here, and the door was there. And that's the only thing I liked about that job, was walking through that fucking door. So I said, that's it. I quit. I had some money saved up. I mean, not a whole lot, but enough to make plans to go somewhere else. Right now, I'm just taking it easy and thinking. I come down here because there's a lot going on this street. All these people rushing around help me to make sense, to see how to live. This afternoon, I was sitting out here and watching those prostitutes across the street, and one of them stepped out of the doorway and took this little guy with a guitar by the hand, and he had just jumped off some dump truck from Arizona, and she took him by the hand, really gentle, like a kid going to school for the first time, and they walked down the street to the hotel together, him carrying this guitar without a case, like he had just played that guitar all around the country, only to end up in some squeaky bed in a ratty motel where somebody's gonna hold him for a while. I mean, even for 10 minutes, you know? And like, I felt kind of sad. Because that's really it. It's never more than that scene. And when it becomes more, I mean, that's when your whole idea of measure in your life is forgotten. You never make sense of nothing. Sometimes when I'm walking through the streets, I want my fingernails to grow long and hard so I can make scratches in the concrete, or make grooves in the sidewalk, or scratch windows, or make cigarette smoke go back into cigarettes like a film running backwards. Sometimes I think by staring hard enough, I can make the sky turn into a storm. make dark clouds suddenly twist around and send rain and lightning over the rooftops. And sometimes if I'm feeling frustrated and men hassle me on the street, I wish I could raise my hand and suddenly dimes would be welded onto their eyeballs. And when men make kissy noises at me on the street, I wish I could make their dicks wither and drop off. Sometime I'd like to make a film of a woman murdering someone in which she stabs the person. I mean, butchers and dismembers and rips his fucking stomach open, and then at the end of this, she sits down in the midst of all this, her clothes and hands and her face all covered in blood.